Alright, so this is gonna be my week 8 installment of the 52 week challenge. So this is gonna be new type of fan shroud for the actual Ender 3 V2. So this is gonna take the existing bracket here, and it's gonna be able to improve it in a few different ways. First and foremost, it's gonna have a separate base plate to the actual fan shroud itself. See, this one snaps on there, but I'm not a huge fan of how it's designed. There's a few different things that I like to improve on it. So what I'm improving it with is this here. So this is the new and improved fan shroud. This has everything integrated, so you can see it's and it's also got magnets in it. You can see here, each one has magnets with it, and the actual part cooler fan is integrated as a separate body, very similar to my upgraded all metal hot end design. I will go show that now. Okay, so here is that design. You can see this one also has a magnet with it. You can see this comes off. Actually, first I am going to turn it off just in case. So this one easily pops off, or allows for easy maintenance, easy cleaning. Any kind of wires get taken out, so everything is made a separate connector so that everything can be disconnected, reconnected, and kind of taken apart separately, just so that it is able to be easily serviceable. That's what the goal of this is. And it also has the or the actual bed leveling. It's actually attached to the actual base plate. So basically what the idea of this is that it actually uses this base plate as a separate unit, and that the actual fan shroud itself can just snap into place, so that it could be taken out in case any kind of jams or anything with the hot end itself. Anything needs to be pulled, PTFE tube, anything needs to be serviced, that's easily done by taking it off, just disconnecting each of these. So yeah, that's what the idea of it is. I'm just going to go back and showcase what the new fan shroud features. Okay, so now that I'm back here, you can see it's got 4 dowel rods here. Each of these has separate, each of these is going to be a hexagonal shape. Each one is set up that uses every single hole. This lines up perfectly. I did many different iterations just so that I can make sure that the fit is absolutely perfect. Each of these sets up, and this also allows for the use of this initial hole here. Okay, so just to kind of give the improvements of why I'm switching it out. So this initial fan shroud, it only uses one bolt hole to actually screw into the bracket itself, and just uses this one clip. And I have had these break on me in the past, so I'm just really not a fan of this stock one. It's only good for, kind of basic stuff, but once you get things that inevitably happen, any kind of clogs or anything, it just makes it a pain to have to take off, take on, and it definitely cakes up with dust a lot easier than this new version. So this is going to be used on 2 of the printers that I have. I'm gonna go ahead and showcase that one. So, like I was mentioning, this just snaps right into place, and it will be able to be held with these magnets on it itself. Snaps in, and you can now no longer remove it from there. You can't jiggle it off. It is on there good. And yeah, from that, I'm gonna go ahead and get right to the disassembly of the other fans. Okay, so wanted to do a voiceover through this section here. So in these parts of the video, I am just disassembling my old fan trails. So currently, right now, I'm just unsheathing all unraveling. I suppose would be all the wire that I have already plugged in, taking out all of it. There is a lot of excess wire for some of this, just like the heater wire. So that is going to be for a new project or another project that I'm going to be doing, where I'm going to do a cable chain for all of these, so that all the cables and whatnot are all organized. But that is going to be in the future. Currently, I'm just using it just as a substitute. While it's all set up, you can see now I'm currently taking out the filament, setting that up. So taking out the PTFE2, the Bowden connector, and all that. So that's all set up for me. Currently now I'm just removing the fan. So in this fan shroud, I ended up having the fan actually bolt in with a nut and a bolt. So it wasn't ideal because it was very time consuming to actually install. You had to have access to both sides. In the new version, of course, I have it so that it just snaps into place and just presses on there, and then it can be used the entire time. So currently, right now, what I'm doing is just installing the base plate. All the holes are going to be put a bolt in just so that it's stable. And of course, you can see, like mentioned earlier, there's magnets there that actually attach to it so that there's a sturdy base. So currently, right now, I'm setting up all the bolts. There's a very large number, about four for this, just so that it can be really solidly on there and that the front plate is actually has a good stable platform. So one of them does go through the actual part cooling shroud section of the base plate. And that's kind of a kind of clever area just so that I can conserve space and still have it, in the form factor that I'm looking for. Currently, I'm installing the BL Touch in this area. That's set up correctly. That's all set. That, of course, has to be pressed in. You can see there the fan shroud is pressed in instead of bolted. That just saves, of course, the bolts, extra weight. And here in this section, I'm trying to figure out why I can't remove the loading tube, not realizing that there's actually that basically there's multi-plastic in the actual heat break that I need to actually turn the printer on so that it can actually be removed. That's why it's not removing. I didn't quite realize that at first. So now that I'm in this section here, I'm actually setting up the heat break just so that I can, set everything together, just testing out the fitment, just routing cables. You can see it pressing in, putting in the part cooling fan. And once that's all set up, I'm just rerouting all the cables, threading back on the Bowden tube,
and just kind of making it look exactly like it was before, but with the new fans crowd section. But this first one was a lot easier to do just because it was basically a one-to-one fans crowd. There wasn't any kind of different hot in like the o- other side that's going to be brought up later into the video. And then I just see him just wrapping it around, just trying to tidy it up so that it's not all over the place. And you can see just setting it up, just routing everything so that it looks somewhat clean. I kind of, a good trick I found is to wrap all the cables around the boating tube, kind of like like snake it around. I found that's a really good way to temporarily have all the cables routed much cleaner just because they stay out the way, the bed doesn't interrupt the, it doesn't get caught on anything or anything that comes up. Okay, so for this next section here, I'm now going to start assembling the actual fan shroud itself. So as you can tell here, I'm just kind of mounting up the base plate. That's why I had it designed this way so that it can be made separate or it could be put on separately. You can see I'm putting all the bolt holes that I modeled in this. And now this is the actual auto bed leveling. Actually, what I like to do with the auto bed leveling is I like to, put a bolt and then use a separate nut and washer combo. I found that's a lot more stable, you know, with it. So it's set up so it's a much more rock solid so that any kind of vibrations or any kind of movement, it is able to absorb that. And then just kind of bolting it up, kind of trying to get the clearance for it. Now I'm setting all of it up. So in this section here, I did actually end up having to kind of edit the actual heater block itself, or I should say the thermistor section heat break. I did have to drill a hole into the actual all metal hot end, just because the original center hole did all strip out. So it really made the original set screw that I've been kind of putting off. I kind of had to make it bigger and bigger, and eventually it just wasn't enough material left to actually, use the bolt to actually lock it in place. So I ended up drilling it from the side and tapping a new M2 hole. So now I can just use a bolt, an M2 bolt, and actually make sure that it's locked in place. And now with this section here, I'm kind of doing similar as last time. Is I'm just routing all the cables, kind of threading it through. Now I'm about to thread in the new fill in it just to test it out. Eventually I'm going to put that through, tightening everything down. All of this is all setting up. And now for the last section here, I'm actually testing out the new fan shrouds. So you can see I'm turning on the printers here, heating them up so that they can actually be, leveled and whatnot. Now currently setting up one of them so that it can be homed and see that works fine. Everything's working with it. I just have the fan outside of it just temporarily. And then this one's being pushed back in. And that one's all set up. And then you can see the original printer that I set up with. That is being turned on now. Now going to home it now. Putting it to the center. just adjusting the knobs because I did have to take out some of the belts when I was doing this installation. And now that I'm setting this up, all I have to do is just home some of the axes just so that it can be seen. And that was a success. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And now that it's all finished, just wanted to ask if you liked the video, like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. If I could get 10 likes, that would be awesome. Thank you again for watching.